All right, welcome back, guys. To Another episode of the Fourth and a Mile podcast. I'm your host, Nicholas Elliott, alongside my co host, JD Zasa, and we'll be getting into week one previewing of the NFL slate alongside recapping last night's thriller in Kansas City. How you doing today, JD?
I'm doing great, man. How about you? It was a great game last night. A little controversial at the end, but just a great start to the NFL season.
Yeah, I believe it was a great game. I mean, there was a lot of controversy, and I thought the Chiefs played well, no hangover from last night. And I mean, let's just head right into the game. Why don't we? What were your thoughts?
There were a few things I really saw. One, Xavier Worthy is going to be really good for the Chiefs. Second, Chiefs just got better from last year. I mean, we all saw they didn't look great throughout the year, but turn it on January, this team's better. This team's better in every way. So 3 looks good. Third, illegal formation is going to be a big deal this year in the NFL. And then fourth, the Ravens shot themselves in the foot again. So many times when they could have beat the Chiefs, just like last year, they shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah. What did you think of the new kickoff rule? I know it looked kind of weird at first, but I kind of like it.
I think it's okay. I have no strong opinions. The strong opinion I have is that you have to announce an onside kick.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of takes me back from when the Saints played in the Super Bowl back in the day against the Colts, and they called an onside straight out of the second half. I mean, you can't really do surprise play calls anymore in the NFL. I mean,
No.
can it kind of take away kind of the excitement of the onside kick, which you really never saw. I mean, you'd
I
see it
mean,
in the fourth quarter,
it's
but
all it I liked it because it was always there.
exactly. Now you kind of have to announce it, so it's kind of weird. But I thought the game went well. Again, you said Ravens shot themselves in the foot. I agree. Lamar had a great game. Really nothing you can hold your head up by, except for that last throw, second to last throw of the game when he missed Zay Flowers wide open in the end zone to tie the game up. I mean, they were going to go for two, so it wouldn't have tied the game. I mean, would have gone down by one, but that was missed it by a toe. I mean, can't ask for a better game.
Yeah, I was watching it with my dad right over here on this TV. I my dad and I were both like, he missed, and then the end, we're both. I'm in shock. I'm like, oh my god, he scored! And then we saw the replay, and I'm like, the Ravens lose like that. That is the most shot in the foot, brutal way to lose by a toe. The Kevin Durant way to lose.
Exactly. I mean, Chiefs played good. Xavier Worthy, I mean, exactly did what he did in the draft. Speed, speed, and more speed. Got around the edge, wide open in the end zone. I mean, couldn't ask for a better week one start from him.
You can thank the Buffalo Bills,
Yep.
Xavier Worthy, and Patrick Mahomes. So
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a good year. I thought I was expecting a little revenge factor from Lamar after losing to them in the AFC Championship last year, but no
I mean,
Super Bowl
played
ring
good.
here. Yeah,
The things that really for me were the big differences were often Ravens offensive line needs some work. I
needs a
mean,
lot of
yeah,
help.
yeah. I mean, they're young. The defense looked really good. Like, that's not the problem. The offensive line didn't look great. Derrick Henry couldn't get anything going because when he was in the game, you saw they just put 8 men in the box. And Chris Jones, who's usually a defensive tackle, was edge rushing half the time, going up against their guys. And then again, they shot themselves in the foot by illegal formations, holding big plays
Yep.
or big time when Ravens are in momentum. A flag. There's another flag for the
I think that
Ravens.
was the most illegal formations I've ever seen by one team in a game.
It's like
It was at least like four or five.
4 or 5 by Ronnie Stanley alone.
Yeah. Let's head into some of the big news for this week. Patrick Surtain got paid 4 years, 96 million. 24 million guaranteed to set up the cornerback market right away for how much the market value is there. And then you got followed up by Jalen Ramsey getting paid pretty much the same deal, but just $100,000 more guaranteed, which I mean, kind of one up everybody nowadays with these contracts. What do you think about that?
Sertan deserves every penny. He's the best player on the Denver Broncos, and it's not even close. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the league, and we'll get into it later. I'm a Cowboys fan, and when Denver took him at 9, right before Dallas's pick, I was so mad because I knew this guy. He's locked down. He's a bona fide star, and he's a probably it's him, Sauce, and one other guy I can't think about on the top of my head, but he's top 3 at best. Like he's incredible, well deserved.
I'd say it's well deserved as well for Jalen Ramsey. He's had a great career, but he's getting towards the back half of his career. I mean, I would
Yeah.
still give him that money. It's kind of a little risk because he can be kind of injury prone at times, but Dolphins need defense. The offense is not really the problem, except for in the front seven of their
And
line.
Jalen Ramsey can still cover number one
Yeah.
guys. It's not like he's way out of his prime. He's still good. It's just not Rams good, not Rams good, not Jacksonville good.
Yeah. And then let's head over to the receiver market. You had CeeDee Lamb getting paid, and now Jamar Chase. He's holding out, but it looks like he's been practicing this week and ahead of their week 1 matchup. What do you think about that?
CeeDee Lamb, thank God. Like Cowboys are such an inept franchise. I don't understand why it takes so long for these things. It's the same thing that happened with Des Bryant, but I think CeeDee Lamb of all three of the guys, Dak, Micah, and CeeDee, I want CeeDee the most. He's the best. He's our best player.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad he got paid. Jamar Chase, he'll eventually get paid. I mean, he's great, but it's just Cincinnati's in that position where it's like you already paid Burrow. You're gonna have to let go a ton of guys after this year to make room for the Chase contract, and it's gonna be a lot. I mean, it's gonna be more than he wants to break Jefferson, even though I think he should go a little under. He should be above CD, I think, but not
Yeah.
above Jefferson. Jefferson's the best receiver in the league,
If we're
and he's
going
not
by
better than his.
NFL numbers, I'd say Justin Jefferson's best in the league. But when we were at LSU, it was a Jamar Chase show, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah, I love watching. I love
Yeah,
watching Jamar Chase. He's one of my favorite receivers in the league. So I'd say go for it. But he's gonna play this year, so I'm glad he's gonna play. I'm not glad he's not gonna just hold out because he knows the Bengals are trying to win the Super Bowl this year, and they have a good chance of doing it.
I agree. Let's head into some injury news. I'd say the biggest injury news heading into the week 1 is Christian McCaffrey. Believe he's questionable with a hamstring injury.
Yeah,
I know you want to practice with him, but you kind of have to take it slow given he carried that team last year.
the big news coming out of Rappaport was they redefined as a calf slash Achilles. But according to John Lynch, the 49ers GM, they say he's ready to go. So I think they'll limit him. They'll obviously limit it because without Christian McCaffrey, that entire offense is built around Christian McCaffrey. Wide zones. You get Christian McCaffrey for that reason of Super Bowl and how to run the offense. So if he goes down, then that's a huge part of the 49ers offense. And you'd have to put more on Brock Purdy, which he can do. It's just you don't want to do.
Yeah. I mean, the Niners usually utilize a multiple back system, so you kind of have that help, but you got to have a dog like McCaffrey running the load of the offense. I mean, he was doing it last year. He was scoring pretty much every single game. You'd look up at your screen, you'd see there's another 6 for Christian McCaffrey every game. He was up there for MVP of the league. I mean,
He's won one in most fantasy leagues.
yeah, I didn't get a chance to get him in mine.
I got him in one of my leagues because I was given 1-1, but
There you go.
I mean, it's Christian McCaffrey, so you don't know if he's ever going to get injured. I mean, it's running backs.
I mean, I think just real quick, we can talk about the quarterback market. I mean, Jordan Love getting paid. Pretty much every quarterback is now looking for contracts, and especially with your Cowboys, Dak Prescott. What do you think about how much the Cowboys are going to give Dak?
I have a controversial take. I don't think they should pay him. I don't think so, and it's not because Dak Prescott's a bad quarterback. He's top 10, I think borderline. I think top 10 borderline, but he's gonna ask for 60 million a year.
Yeah,
He's gonna ask for a lot, and I mean a lot of money. If I'm the Cowboys, you've had him for 8 years. He's been your quarterback for 8 years. Do you really think he's the guy to get you over the hump? I don't think so. So nothing against Dak. I'd let him walk, but that's not how the Cowboys roll. They're gonna give him probably 65 to 70 million a year.
yeah,
He's gonna be the highest paid quarterback. He's gonna reset everything. And that's just gonna make the 49ers and other teams like CJ Stroud way down the line, but he's gonna make a lot of
yeah.
money.
It's kind of a weird, like you're kind of, it's kind of in a bad position almost. Because do you want to keep Dak, but you have to pay all that money, especially when he's in his back half of his career, because that can be technically a good bit of risk. But he's not really an injury prone, so he's basically plays most of the game, so it could be a good deal. It's kind of like the Saints are in position, same position with Derek Carr when they just drafted Spencer Rattler. I mean, you kind of want to take that risk on a young guy, but you don't want to, especially like a franchise like the Cowboys.
Here's my quick fun fact. When was the last time the Dallas Cowboys drafted a first round quarterback talent?
That's got to be at least like
Troy
20.
Aikman.
Yeah, that's
Troy
crazy.
Aikman. Yeah, they. I'm just like, why not? You'll be probably the you'll be probably mid. I mean, we'll get into it later, but mid first round.
Yeah,
Why take a chance on a guy like probably yours or someone that's going to come out of the draft like that?
yeah, it's just kind of like the Falcons situation. Alrighty, let's head into our next segment. Let's preview the game tonight on Friday night in Brazil. We got the Eagles coming off of a terrible finish of the season to Packers who finished strong but got destroyed by the Niners in the playoffs.
It wasn't really a
About this
destruction.
game.
It wasn't really destroyed. They played them tight.
Yeah, they played them tight, but they just couldn't stop them on defense.
No, not really.
How do you think this game will go tonight?
One thing you forgot to say, it's the first game in Brazil.
That is true. It's kind of odd. I mean, the players are not told to leave their hotel or anything. It's kind of danger zone, but hey, growing the game, gotta get it out.
We'll see. I'm not here to talk about is it good or not to take in Brazil. I'm here to talk about the game, and I think this is going to be a great game. These are two of the these are two of the top contenders in the NFC. Philadelphia. I mean, what is there to say? They have all the talent in the world. They just got better. Their biggest problem last year was secondary. What did they do? They got in their first two picks, they took Quinion Mitchell, which a lot of people thought was the best top cornerback in the league or top cornerback in the draft. My mistake. And then the next pick, they get Cooper DeJean from Iowa. Another really, really talented corner from Iowa, a place that develops good defensemen. And the offense, they added Saquon Barkley. They extended AJ Brown, they extended Devontae Smith, and they got Jalen Hurts. The biggest thing with the Eagles is are the coordinators and the coaching good? Because that's the big thing coming out of Philadelphia. They have the roster to compete with anyone in the league. It's coaching. Do Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator, and Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator, carry this team like Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen did 2 years ago when they made the Super Bowl 57? I don't know. On the Packers side, they just got better as well. They had two Alabama guys in the free agency, Xavier McKinney from New York and Josh Jacobs from Las Vegas. So, and they got Jordan Love, who's now the highest paid quarterback in the league, which understandable, but is there a risk to that? They're the youngest team in the NFL, so do does Jordan Love's success transition from this year? I don't know. It's going to be a great game. I cannot wait to watch it at a bar, or I'll probably follow it because I got work tonight. But we'll see. Streaming exclusively on Peacock, which I think's stupid.
Yeah. I think this game will be good. I mean, couldn't ask for a better matchup on a Friday night. I mean, it's kind of weird getting a Friday night game. You usually only get those on holidays. But I again, like you said with the coaching, yeah, I don't really know if I trust Nick Sirianni right now after last season.
If they
And
have
I want to
another,
see how they'll do on the line. I think the biggest key for the Eagles this year, because they have all the talent offensively, is that offensive line without Jason Kelsey. I want to see if how well they're gelling because he was the glue of that Eagles team, and I mean, he was helped big part of the tush push era. And I'm not sure if they'll be going back to it because I'm pretty sure they've said they may not be running it this year, but we'll have to see. I mean, you kind of have to with the guy like Jalen Hurts. I mean, he gets you free yards and quarterback sneaks situations all the time.
yeah, I mean, Philadelphia thinks they got a guy. They've had a guy for a few years that they know, Jason Kelsey, and Jason Kelsey really likes him. I can't remember the name, that's how I say it, because I'm not a diehard Eagles fan, but I think their offensive lines could be okay. Obviously, losing a Hall of Famer and a future, a guy that they're gonna retire his jersey in Philadelphia.
Yep.
It's tough, but I think Philadelphia is going to be okay because they're steady everywhere else. They got Jordan Mailata. They got probably the best tackles in the league, Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson on the other side, and they got highest paid guard as well, Alabama alumni Landon Dickerson.
Yeah. The Packers side, I just want to see how Jordan Love does after year two, after year one starting. I want to see what he does in year two. And they got some really good young receivers who showed out. I want to see if Christian Watson can improve. He kind of had a meh year last year. It wasn't as good. And I
Very
want to see
injury
how
prone.
dominant their running game is because they have probably one of the most stacked running back rooms in the league. I mean, they're
Yeah,
three deep at least. I mean, you got AJ Dillon and Josh Jacobs. I mean, that's two guys that you want on your fantasy team. I mean,
pretty good.
pretty dang good. All
My
right.
biggest concern with the Packers, one last thing, is their defense.
Yeah, their defense
How
was not
much
that
of
good
an
last year.
improvement is it going to be? I mean, Packers fans dislike Joe Barry a lot, but you're bringing a guy from Boston College, the former Boston College head coach. How well does that transition? I mean, they're aging. It's not a young defense. They got guys there. It's just, is it going to gel? And against Philadelphia, which is one of the best teams offensively in the league.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, we'll get into predictions later in the show.
Alrighty, let's head into Sunday. We got a divisional matchup. Houston Texans with so much hype around them with CJ Stroud getting Stephon Diggs and company. Going against the return of Anthony Richardson off of injury and the Colts with Jonathan Taylor with Shane Steichen running the ship. How do you how do you think this matchup will go in Indy?
It will be just like their Week 18 matchup, but better. I mean, these two teams are two up and coming franchises, both really young, both have strengths and weaknesses on each side. Texans are a little more explosive, but the Colts have a better defense and a better run game. The Colts season revolves around Anthony Richardson. Like Shane Steichen's the guy. I really like Shane Steichen, but it depends on Anthony Richardson. It all depends on Anthony Richardson. Can he stay healthy? Because he's the biggest wild card. Even at Florida, he was the biggest wild card of them all. All the talent in the world. Just can he develop? What does it look like? Fully healthy Colts team. On the
Yeah,
Texans side, On the Texans side, they got D'Amico Ryans, they got CJ Stroud, they got Tank Dell, they got Nico Collins, they got Stephon Diggs, they got Joe Mixon. I mean, just name them off, and that's not even getting to the defense. Texans are looking to just take that next step as a franchise. I mean, CJ Stroud, my bad. He's gonna be one of the front runners for MVP, probably. I mean, a ton of people pick him. Probably him or Jordan Love at top two MVP candidates. Does he take that next step? Or does he have a kind of a Trevor Lawrence sophomore slump where it's just okay?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be interesting for sure. I also want to see on the Texans side, they have so much hype. They haven't had this much hype since what, the last year, the Deshaun Watson era.
I don't think ever. I think they're more
Yeah,
excited
this is
for
probably, yeah, I think it's more hype, but they still had a good bit of hype because they're a perennial playoff team. But now they want to get into the dance again, get into playoffs again, and they have higher expectations. They want to win one or two games, and I mean, at least AFC Championship. That's what their like expectations are now. And I just want to see how Stephon Diggs does in his new home. See if Tank Dell can build off of his good year, and especially on the defensive side, they added some pieces, and they still have Will Anderson. I mean, he was really well in his rookie campaign. And then
very much.
the Colts side, I just want to see how well the passing game can be because that's the kind of the X factor for the Colts. They have a fantastic offensive line, great running game with Jonathan Taylor. Anthony Richardson uses his running ability as well. But I want to see how those receivers do because they do have Michael Pittman. He's one of the most consistent receivers in the NFL. And then you have AD Mitchell from Texas. He kind of fell to them in the draft. I just want to see how he does, especially they're going to be without, I believe, Josh Downs for a little bit. So I want
Yep.
to see how that passing game looks in week one for the Colts. But it should be a great divisional matchup to kick off the season.
The key to the game is the Texans offensive line versus the Colts defensive line. Colts defensive line is going to be one of the best units in football. Can the Texans protect them? Because the Texans offense is built for CJ Stroud to throw the ball.
Yep.
It's just giving him time. And that's the key to the game. And for the other side, it's Anthony Richardson versus the Texans defense. I mean, you're going up against not just Will Anderson, but you got Derek Stingley Jr. in the back end. You
Yep.
got Christian Harrison in the linebacking core. You got multiple guys, and it's a D'Amico Ryan's defense.
Yep.
I mean,
It's gonna be a good matchup.
you saw it. I mean, they're going to be one of the top units as well. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a great start to the AFC South.
Yep. Let's head into our Sunday night football preview. We got the LA Rams versus Detroit Lions. This is actually a divisional game from last season. That was a very entertaining, high-powered offenses up and down the field between Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. And Matthew Stafford's another return game to Detroit. This is probably one of the best games of the week. I mean, I'm not sure you can get a finish like the Chiefs game, but just with how much hype is around Detroit and how much firepower there is on both teams, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better Sunday night football game.
Last game, it was actually a wild card game, and it was about same time, probably same uniforms, same
Yeah,
everything, same channel. Detroit won their first playoff game in 30 years, and it was the best game of the wild card weekend. And this is the most excited Sunday night football game. This is my probably tied with Philadelphia and Green Bay for my most anticipated game of the weekend. If it's anything like last year's game, it's going to be a awesome game. But I have no idea how it's going to top Chiefs Ravens because that was
yeah,
something.
that was insane.
What do you think the key difference of the game is going to be on both sides?
I
How
think
does
I think
how does
defense for
how,
both teams.
how does LA win this game? How does Detroit win this game?
LA needs to slow down that high powered offense with David Montgomery, Jameer Gibbs, Laporta, Amon Ra, St. Brown. I mean, they got weapons all over the field. How do you slow that team down and don't put them in good field positions because Dan Campbell loves going for it on fourth down. You don't want to have the ball in plus territory and give them those chances to take risks. And I think it's the same key for the Lions. Can they slow down Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua, Kyron Williams, and Matthew Stafford? I mean, that's just a big key for the game. Can Aiden Hutchinson get home on Matthew Stafford? I mean, those are the big key to the games. I mean, I want to see how the Rams do without Aaron Donald anymore, with him being retired. I mean, I got a lot of question marks with the Rams defense, especially after losing them.
That's my big thing is defense on both sides. I'll give you position groups that I'm most excited for. The Rams defensive line. They lost Aaron Donald, but they also brought in Jared Verse and Braden Fisk from Florida State. They also got Byron Young, who was awesome last year, but is that all due to Aaron Donald? I don't know. The big thing with them is, can you at least stop the run? If if the Rams can't stop the run, then
Long game.
ball game, ball game. You have to at least contain the run. And for Detroit's side, it's their secondary. It was their biggest weakness last year, and they didn't do a ton. They did a little bit to solidify it over the offseason, but I didn't love all their changes. They did bring in Terry and Arnold, who that's gonna help. It's just another body out there, and he's pretty good, but he's a rookie. And rookie cornerbacks are gonna get torched,
Yeah, they get picked on
especially
all.
by especially by a veteran quarterback in Stafford. It's just which of those is it the Rams defensive line or is it Detroit secondary? Whoever wins that battle, whoever looks better is going to win the game.
Yep. I'm hoping for another high-powered offense game.
Oh, I think you're going to get that. I don't
Let's
think
head into dun, 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 dun. Monday Night Football to wrap up week one. We'll have the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson and company heading to the Bay Area, facing off against Brock Purdy, newly paid receiver Brandon Ayuk and company. How do you think this game's going to go, JD?
interesting start for the Jets. Monday Night Football again,
Yeah.
going up against the guy who it's not his fault, Leonard Floyd. He's now a 49er. He was the one that technically did Rogers' Achilles, but
Yeah.
it wasn't really his fault. It wasn't really his fault as well.
It's
This
messed
game, I have a lot of people are really high on the Jets this year. I don't see it. They they have everything. They have a great defense. They have great weapons. They have the running back. They have the quarterback, I think. But the big thing is the offensive line. And you're going to San Francisco. You're
Yep.
going up against their defense with Bosa, with all those guys. Fred Warner, their safeties. Hufanga in the back end. I believe that's how you say his last name. I'm blanking on all the 49ers,
Yeah,
but
me too.
it's an all
It's in Pro Bowl lineup.
it's a Pro Bowl lineup. Who is that? Who's that guy that got injured in the
Dre Greenlaw.
Dre Greenlaw? I hope he might be back. I don't know about that,
Maybe
but
not. We'll see. So that was like torn ACL. That'd be
this is
a
another
rust.
interesting game. I think this is gonna be a low scoring game. I think it's gonna be very low scoring. These are two of the best defenses in the league, the Jets and the 49ers. I do not see this being high scoring. I would bet the under on this game, probably at most like 40, 42, maybe 21 each side. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not see this be high scoring at all.
I just want to see how Aaron Rodgers does. I mean, not many guys come back from an Achilles injury, especially if you look at the basketball side of things. Not many guys. I mean, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, just to name a few. I mean, Kevin Durant, he came back really nicely, but Klay Thompson, not so much from the Achilles injury. I want to see how, because that's such a bad injury, especially being in his 40s in the back,
Not a fun one.
1 or 2 more years left in the tank. Does he have it? This is a big game, big test on that Achilles. Can he Can his offensive line hold up, as you were saying? I mean, he has receivers. He has Garrett Wilson and company. I mean, they have Brees Hall, who had a good year last year, and their defense was incredible. And if they had any quarterback last year besides Zach Wilson, if they had a competent backup quarterback, they probably would have made the playoffs with how good that defense was. But we'll see. It's going to be a good game. I want to see how Brock Purdy does in another year starting. I mean, he had a good year last year, and I want to see. I mean, if McCaffrey plays, I mean, looking like he will, if he has a big game. And I just want to see how Debo does because Debo didn't play as much last season. So I want to see how he does and if he can stay healthy.
Can we both agree that the Jets need this way more than the 49ers?
Oh, 100%. This is because the Jets need this in many ways. I mean, they need to get Rodgers not only to play the full game, but Rodgers usually struggles against the Niners, especially in San Francisco. He hasn't really fared share in his career in San Francisco. So I think it's more important that the Jets win this game than the Niners, just because the Niners kind of own that NFC West right now. That division, they kind of have that division down right now. So it's really just if the Jets can get off to a good start.
Look, if any guy can come back from an Achilles injury, it's a three-time MVP. It's one of the best quarterbacks we've both ever seen. It's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, just be decisive. He'll get the ball out quick, and I think that's how the Jets are going to have to play this year
Yep.
because their offensive line is not good.
Get Garrett Wilson in open space, especially.
Yeah,
And the good thing for him is he's playing on grass and not turf out in MetLife. So that should hopefully help him.
yeah. If things go south this year for the Jets, you can say goodbye to Joe Douglas. You can say goodbye to Robert Saleh. You can say goodbye to a ton of people in their front offices. Even though I don't think it's their fault, it's just they've never got the quarterback. They're
Look,
banking
yet
everything on Rodgers, everything on him. And I hope for the Jets fans' sake that this works because they deserve something. It's kind of like Detroit. It's like they deserved something, and then they got it. I believe Jets fans are in the same way. They need some hope. I'd like to see him back and just competent offense,
winning games.
winning games.
You're
Like
playing January football.
yeah, or even getting into January football. Just being competitive in the AFC East.
And that division is especially wide. It's still pretty much wide open with, I mean, uncertainty around teams around them.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great
It's gonna be a great
year.
end of the week with the Monday night showdown between the Niners and Jets. And I agree with you. I think it'll be low scoring as well. These defenses are two of the best in the NFL,
Like
and
we were
it's not
going
gonna be
through this,
many.
like we were going through this in the pre-show. The Sunday noon slate, like the day slate, doesn't look great. I mean, there's some good stuff, but boy, did they pack the Thursday night, the the Friday night, the Sunday night, and the Monday night. Those are the best games of the week.
Yeah.
Everything else kind of there.
Yeah, but us NFL fans are just happy football is back. We'll have the Sunday ticket rolling with all the games, checking our fantasy
Red
teams,
zone,
everything.
yeah.
Red Zone, to see Hanson back on the television on Red Zone. I mean, can't ask for a better Sunday.
It's back. NFL's back, baby.
There we go. Let's get into our last segment, second to last segment of this week. This episode, let's get into some predictions for these games. Quick predictions. This Friday night matchup between the Eagles and Packers. Who do you got, JD?
I've got the Eagles. I got Philly.
Yeah, I
I think
agree
they're the
with you
better
on that
team.
one. I got the Eagles on that one as well.
All right, who you got next?
Let's head into the Sunday games, the noon slate. The Steelers heading into the new look Steelers and new look Falcons in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Who do you got?
Ugh, this is a tough one. I'm gonna pick the upset. Give me the Steel City. I think the more experienced coached. I think they're more experienced, and I don't know. I like the Steelers team.
Me
I don't
too.
know why. I just like the Steelers team. I'm picking
I
Pittsburgh.
always I always like the Steelers teams for some reason. There's just something about them. And they got better on defense. They got Patrick Queen. I think I'm gonna agree with you. I think I really want to see how Kirk Cousins does in week one, especially coming off that Achilles injury. I mean, I'm a Saints fan, but and the Falcons are the most hated team. But I'm still gonna pick against them. Give me the Steelers. Let's head in to
Panther Saints.
Carolina Panthers versus my Saints. The Saints have not lost. They have the most active, longest streak of winning week one games is at 5. And I think that's going to go to 6. They're going to win against Bryce Young in the Superdome, and they're going to get off to a good start. And this is a big year for Dennis Allen. If he does not get off to a good start, because his schedule is very tough, they need to fire him.
Saints. Give me the Saints.
Saints for you. Let's
Got
head into your Cowboys, heading into Cleveland Browns. That'll be Tom Brady's first game on the call. What do you think about that game? Cowboys?
Could go either way, honestly, but I think I don't love it. I think Cowboys squeak it out, and it's because I think Dak's the better quarterback. I think Browns have a better defense, but I think the Cowboys just squeak it out. It's gonna be a great game. I think Cowboys.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Browns, but I really don't want to play as a Saints fan, play the Cowboys coming off a loss in the home opener of next week for the Cowboys. I'm gonna take the Browns just because I like how Deshaun Watson finished off the season, and I think with Kevin Stefanski still as head coach, they're gonna have a good year, especially with Amari Cooper. He had a fantastic year last year, and he's gonna continue that.
Let's speed it up a little. Let's
That's
go
right.
rapid fire.
Vikings Giants. Who you got?
Vikings,
I'm gonna take the Giants. I think Malik Neighbors goes off. Jaguars Dolphins.
Dolphins.
I'm gonna agree with you on that one. Dolphins, Tua getting paid. He's gonna go off. Kind of an ugly game. Patriots, Bengals.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati. I think we can both agree on that one. I think we can both agree on next game too. Cardinals, Bills.
Cardinals will look really improved. Bills.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I'm gonna go with the Bills as well. Interesting game here. Texans heading into the Colts. We previewed that game earlier.
Give me the upset. I'm going Indianapolis.
Wow, I was gonna do the same. Let's go Colts.
Well,
New look Titans with Will Levis at quarterback, and new look Bears with Caleb Williams running the show. Who do you got?
Levis and the Titans. Give me the
I'm gonna
Titans.
I'm gonna take the Bears, the home team here. With how much hype is surrounding that team, I'm buying stock in the Bears. We got new new look Chargers with Jim Harbaugh hosting the Raiders with Gardner Minshew. Who do you got in this one?
The Raiders.
I'm gonna take Chargers, but I really want to see how Justin Herbert looks in this offense. It's gonna be kind of weird. Bo Nix at quarterback with the Sean Payton year 2 in Denver, heading into the 12th man facing out the Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Smith, you got
Give me
Seahawks.
Seattle.
I'm a back Seattle as well. It's home with the 12th man. After visiting Seattle in the summer, I'm gonna stick with Seattle.
Very nice.
Jaden Daniels and the Commanders heading to, as it used to be known as Tampa Bay, but the Tampa Bay to see the Bucks. Who do you got?
I got Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning, and pretty handily too.
I think it'll be handily. I'm gonna back the Bucks as well. I thought they finished off the year pretty nicely, and they squeaked into the playoffs. I mean, all right.
Sunday night
Carrie
football.
Underwood, Sunday Night Football. L.A. Rams, Detroit Lions. Who you got?
It's tough. I like the Lions. I think their secondary is going to be better than the Rams' defensive line.
I agree. Give me the Lions on that one. We got a lot of the same picks, but I mean, it's kind of.
Hey, we got some.
There's two guys talking ball, and I guess we know ball. We'll see.
Jets 49ers.
Jets 49ers. Yeah, I forgot about that game. Give me the Jets. Give me the Jets.
I no can't make me 49ers handily. Actually, I don't say handily. I think 49ers
All
win
right, let's
10.
continue this rapid fire approach. What is your Super Bowl prediction in the Big Easy?
Do you want to pick winners as well?
Yeah, let's get our matchup and then get our winners real quick.
I'll give you the easy one first. Philadelphia's gonna win the NFC.
Who do you got winning the AFC?
That's the hard one for me.
I agree.
There's so many teams, but rematch Super Bowl 57. Eagles Chiefs, and I
Yeah.
have the Eagles winning.
Wow.
I have Philadelphia. I think these moves are going to be good. I got the Eagles winning Super Bowl 59. It could bite me, and
We'll have
yes,
to see.
I can't be I'm not biased here.
Exactly. I'm gonna say my AFC. This is gonna be a Super Bowl rematch from the same city from when the Ravens and I'm gonna take the Ravens winning the AFC and I'm gonna take the Niners winning the NFC.
Ooh,
And I
last
think
time they
this
played
time, yep, exactly. And I think the Niners are gonna finally get one home. They're gonna
redemption.
get another one home. Exactly.
You got redemption.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's the charm, maybe so. I hope not.
You hope not.
MVP? How about
MVP.
MVP? I'll let you go first this time.
Let's see. There's so many good quarterbacks.
We all
I'm
know
gonna
it's going
take.
to go to a quarterback.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna take Christian McCaffrey MVP since I'm taking the Niners. I'm gonna take McCaffrey.
I'm gonna take. Gosh, who do I think is gonna be good? I want to pick a Lions so bad, but I don't think they're gonna. I don't think Goff's gonna win it. I think Josh Allen's gonna win it. I think
He's
Josh
gonna
Allen.
have to lower that interception count. I think he will though.
He's rookie of the year. Just offensive, defensive side.
Offensive rookie of the year. Give me.
You don't. This is best rookie, so you don't. It could be an offensive or defensive player. Just
I
who?
think the best rookie is gonna be Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman.
It's kind of a dark horse, but I think that wide receiver one is kind of up
Dang.
for grabs in
Okay.
Buffalo. And if Buffalo wants to have a good year, they're gonna have to find a wide receiver one. And they drafted Keon Coleman and they went past Xavier Worthy. So I think Keon Coleman's got to be that guy.
Good call. I'm gonna go with not a quarterback, even though I think Caleb's gonna be great. I'm gonna take. I'm tossing it up between two guys, but I'm gonna say Malik Neighbors.
He's gonna give. I agree with you on that one.
I really want to say Maserati Mar, but I think Malik Neighbors is gonna have a bigger year.
I agree. I just kind of this is kind of like my best rookie, but it's kind of like a long shot best rookie.
Nope. Nope. Actually, switch that. I do. I give me Marvin Harrison Jr. I like
Roddy Mars,
Kyler Murray more. Surprise.
surprise team. Who
And
do you
this
got?
can be either a team that you don't think is going to be as good as everyone thinks, or a team that you think is going to be better than a lot of people think. Just team that you think is going to surprise people.
I think if I go by a surprise team, I think the Jaguars are gonna be a surprise team. As
In
in, I
what
think they're gonna
way?
be a lot better than what people expect. I think Trevor Lawrence is gonna have much. He didn't have a good year last year. He's gonna have a much better year. He just got paid. He's coming off of a contract. This is his biggest year, and they have great They added more weapons. They got Brian Thomas, and they still have Evan Ingram. He's one of the most underrated tight ends in the game. He's as
There's
consistent as they come.
for me, there's two teams, and I'll put both down. I think one is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be 10. I think they're going to win the NFC South. I got them winning. I have them going 10-7.
Wow, that's it. I mean, they did it last year.
They were,
10's probably enough in the NFC South.
and then the other team I have is the Seahawks. I
You
think they're
think
going to be a lot better.
a lot better? Okay,
I think Seahawks are going to be really good. I think Mike McDonald's going to be the best first
that's
year
who they
head
hired. I
coach.
was trying to figure
I
out
I think
what
he's
they
going to be
hired.
the best first year head coach of the bunch.
If I was going off of a team that I think that's going to be worse than expected, this might get some backlash, but I'm gonna go with the Texans because I think the Jaguars are going to win the division. I think the Texans are going to fade off. I think they're going to be a wild card team, but I don't think they're going to make it as far as everybody thinks because they have just way
Do
too much
you
hype around them with a second year quarterback,
do you
second year
think
head coach.
what's their win? What do you think their loss going to be? The 10 wins? Like 10-7? You think 10-7?
I think they'll go 11-6, but a lot of people are talking like they'll go 13-4 or like 12-5.
You think the Jaguars are going to go like 12, win 12 games, 11, 12 games?
Ah, I think so.
All right.
It's a bold prediction.
That's not bad. All right. Let's get into the final segment. This is what we call the State of the Union. So, as we said before, Nicholas is a Saints fan and I am a Cowboys fan. Who wants to start State of the Union? We just talk about our team for like a few minutes.
Let's talk. Let's start with you. More
Here we
controversy with
go.
the Cowboys and the Saints,
Oh
especially
boy, here we
for the
go. Oh
playoff
boy,
loss
here we
last
go.
year.
Okay, so let's start with this. I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas. I am a Cowboys fan since I was born, not by choice. I just picked the home team. I really don't like this team. I think a lot of people are going to say divisional loss, like 11, 12 wins. I think this team's 10-9 wins. I think at best they get the
Again,
5 seed. I think at best they get the 5 seed, and at worst they're out of the playoffs. I think
yeah,
10-7, 9-8. I see them losing the wild card round because they'll get matched up with like Detroit, Philly, San Francisco, Seattle, Tampa Bay, even. I don't like this team. It's just they didn't get better. They got worse. Who's the run? They have gonna have no running game. It's gonna be all Dak Prescott to CeeDee Lamb. Maybe Brandon Cooks will get in there. Maybe some other guy. The defense will be fine. I think the run game's gonna get worse. I think every team's gonna run the ball on us because we didn't go out and go get defensive tackles. The offensive line's gonna be fine. That's not what I'm worried about. Offense will look fine. It will be carried by Dak Prescott. And I could see him win MVP because he'll be carrying this team to 9-10 wins.
yeah,
I do not like this team at all. They have a tough schedule. They play the AFC North and the NFC South this year. I don't love both divisions, especially the AFC North. They could easily go 0-4 in the AFC North, and I wouldn't be surprised. I think I think they blow it up. I wouldn't
yeah,
pick Dak. Just wait. But that's just me. And Jerry Jones,
yeah,
please retire. I do not like you. Please get away from the Cowboys. Stop being the most unlikable franchise in football. Stop being a team that reads this press all the time. Show some fight once in a while. And for the love of God, make it past the divisional round for once in my lifetime. I'd like to see my team make it to conference title game once. I'm not
yeah.
even asking for a Super Bowl. I'm just asking conference championship here.
I was listening to
I saw the
Stephen A.
Detroit Lions. I saw the Detroit Lions make the NFC championship before the Dallas Cowboys. Nothing against the Detroit Lions, but in what world do the Detroit Lions make it to the NFC championship? I saw the Minnesota Vikings also. Two teams that have been. And I'll give you another one. The Kansas City Chiefs, for most of my life, have been the epitome of mediocrity. They're now a dynasty. I just want to see a conference championship here. I'm not even asking for Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I just want to see my team make it to the third round once.
Yep. I I think another I was listening. It seemed like he was showing Jerry Jones was showing a lot of fight yesterday because I was listening to the Stephen A. Smith show. He was on there with Stephen A. and he seemed like he was making a lot of takes. It was like, why did they not sign CD earlier? And he was just like, well, he got paid. And I was like, a lot of like weird
Jerry
responses.
Jones is the I hate him. I
Yeah,
hate Jerry Jones. I can't stand him. I can't stand it. He says he wants to win six, but it's just advertisement to get people
and
to
feeble.
it's just to get people to sell tickets and make the brand, which
Yep,
doing a great job of.
yep,
You're not winning six before you're gonna pass before we win six. Unless you
yep.
take this shit seriously.
I think the worst loss that the Cowboys had this year was losing Dan Quinn. He was such an elite play caller defensively, and I want
It's
to see
gonna
how
hurt.
DeRon Bland does. I mean,
I don't I like the Mike Zimmer hire. I think that's gonna be fine. But I agree with you. And Mike McCarthy is not the guy. Like
yep. I think we can both agree about our
good,
coaches being bad.
probably Bell, probably Bill. They'll probably hire Belichick or Deion Sanders, and we'll just go on a cycle of insanity yet again. It's just a cycle
Yeah.
of insanity.
Let's head over to my team, the Saints.
All
Been
right,
a
Stanley
fan all my life.
starts now.
All right. We have Derek Carr. I like him and I like him. He's a good person. I'll fight for him as my quarterback. He had some flashes, but the offensive line, I mean, I want to see if Trevor Penning actually exists. I mean, probably not. He was probably one of the worst first round picks you could ever have. Guess we'll have to see. They have to this is a must win against the Panthers, or the season's already down the drain because you play the Cowboys, Falcons, and Chiefs the next 3 weeks, and you could automatically start 0-4 if you don't win this week. So it all depends on this week. The Saints still have an elite defense. There's nothing I can hate about the defense. They got Kool-Aid. They got Marshawn Lattimore is definitely a top 5 corner in the league. This Tyrann Mathieu, still he was pretty solid. They have one of the best linebackers in the NFL, Demario Davis, and they still have Cam Jordan. I believe he's in year 11 or 12, and he's still doing pretty solid.
Still kicking butt.
Still kicking butt. It's just the Saints. I want to see how the Saints offense does. I've really no problems with the defense. The defense is good, which used to always be the worry back 10 years ago with the Saints. They didn't have a defense when they had Drew Brees and probably costed them a couple rings. But offensively, I want to see the new system. We got Clint Kubiak from the Niners, so we running more of a Shanahan offensive style. So I want to see a lot of play action, opening up the run game for Alvin Kamara, who's still they still haven't really come to an agreement on contracts, so he'll be playing for more money. I want to see how they utilize Taysom Hill with the tight end now that they fully switched him on the depth chart to tight end, even though he's still going to be quarterback, tight end, gunner on the punts, you name it, Swiss Army knife machine. I want to see Chris Olave if he can have another 1,000 yard plus season. I mean, he put himself down as one of the most consistent receivers right now in the NFL. They don't really have another weapon besides him, and it's kind of be tough. I mean, they still have Kamara, but it's not like you need more receivers. We have Rashid Shaheed. He's a explosive player, but that's 2 receivers. You need more guys to throw the ball to, and then especially you have. They did get Tawis Flaga from Oregon State. He's a good
I
offensive.
love that draft pick.
Yeah, that's
Love that draft pick.
that's all I wanted out of the first round was offensive lineman. And I just want to see if Derek Carr, if he improves or if he gets hurt, then put in Spencer Rattler. You have nothing to lose. And if that doesn't go well, please fire Dennis Allen and put me out of my misery. He's one of the worst head coaches by record in the NFL. If you just go back, he was never good with the Raiders, and he's been trashed the first couple seasons. And the Saints, at best, are probably like if they were going at their peak, their at best is probably like 10-7. They can maybe do better, but that'd be carried by the defense. Like if they want to have a good year and make the playoffs, it's all about their defense carrying them.
Two questions, and they're kind of off too. My first question is what what record do you think Dennis Allen keeps his how does Dennis Allen keep his job? Like, best case scenario, Dennis Allen keeps his job. Do they win the South? What's their record?
Probably like 9-8, probably like around 500,
You
and
don't
he'll
think
probably
they'll?
keep his job.
I think they'll fire him if they. I think they'll fire him if they go nine and
Our
eight.
owner is too nice, Miss Benson. She's too nice, and then Mickey Loomis. I mean, he just wants us to go in more cap prison.
My second question is: if they fire Dennis Allen, who do you want?
I want an offensive guy. And I want a guy, or just get a proven guy. I don't even care if it's Belichick. Give me Belichick for like a year or two. I need a guy who actually is a winner, not a loser.
I mean, I can say this for. I mean, both of our teams are kind of in this. I
They
feel
were
like
the
both of
same
our teams
spot.
are very similar. I mean, we both drafted offensive linemen. We were both really happy about offensive linemen. I really like Tyler Guyton. We're both kind of in the same boat where it's like maybe fringe playoff, maybe a best playoffs,
Yep.
a game, maybe. We both want our coaches fired. We both are praying for some semblance of culture.
Yeah. I mean, we have a good culture. It's just like he just can't coach. I mean, he's an elite coordinator. I will like he is an elite coordinator. He's a good coordinators. Some coordinators can't be head coaches, and that's him.
Yeah, my
Like
thing
he
with
survived
McCarthy,
the defensive.
my thing with McCarthy is there's no way he doesn't get fired. Like,
Yeah.
what do they have to do? Conference championship, Super Bowl. They probably have to win the Super Bowl or conference championship to
To
keep
please the
his job.
fans.
They're not going to please the fans. They're going to be bad. I think they're going to be
Yeah.
bad. Dak Prescott will have to carry this team. And I like Dak. He can't win big games. I've seen it for 8 years. I really liked him at Mississippi State. He can't win the big game.
That's Derek Carr right there. I mean, Derek Carr and Dak Prescott are kind of like the same players. I mean,
Maybe
not really, because Dak is a lot better, but
Dak Prescott has the higher ceiling, but it's just like
yeah,
probably Derek Carr has the lower floor.
exactly.
I mean, yeah, we're Saints Cowboys, same, same, same position.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, gosh. It all starts week one. Both of our teams need to get off to a good start. I mean, next week we
Yeah, I
both
mean,
play each other.
we play
We both play
Cleveland,
each
then we
other.
go to Atlanta, Cincinnati,
How we
Baltimore.
play you guys next week is Saints at Cowboys.
Oh boy, here we go. That's
So we
gonna
got
be
the battle of the fourth and a mile podcast.
that's gonna be an interesting little podcast. But we'll get to that eventually.
Exactly. Maybe we can do a friendly little loser has to wear Cowboys or Saints gear on the
Yeah,
on
I
the
mean, I've got stuff. I've got stuff for Saints, so we'll see.
Well, I guess that wraps us up. So are you think all right, so I'm gonna say 9-8 or 10-7 for the Saints. So record prediction for your Cowboys, just to wrap it up here.
9, 8, and 7.
Just same boat.
Best case scenario, 11-6.
Yep. And I mean, I just don't see the Cowboys winning that division.
Worst case scenario, have 6-10, 7-9.
Like the Saints could still win their division just because there's still question marks with the Falcons, even
We're
though
not
they,
winning. We'll
but
we'll finish second. We'll finish second.
yeah,
Philadelphia's winning our division.
yeah, the Cowboys
I
are
do
kind of
not
like
see
in
a
a
world
spot
where
where they
Dallas
can't win the
repeats.
division.
I do not see a world where Dallas repeats. We're going to be second. We're not as bad as Washington. We're not as bad as New York, but Philadelphia is just. I mean, I have them winning my Super Bowl. They're the best
Yeah.
team.
But all right, guys, thanks for tuning in to episode 2. Look out for episode 3, recapping college football next week. I'm Nicholas Elliott and my co-host JD. Checking out. Goodbye.